Hello friends, welcome to another video on my YouTube channel, and in today's video you will learn about a framework called Gradio, which is kind of a must for any machine learning or data scientist aspirant students or professionals, because this Gradio framework will allow you to create a beautiful UI demo for your product, and even you can share the demo with other people to test. So let's get started. Now I am here in my Visual Studio Code and I have opened my terminal. There are three things that I have already done. First, I have created my virtual environment using Python -m venv, and venv is my virtual environment name. And then I have activated it using source venv bin and then activate. So you can see that here I am inside my venv virtual environment, and the third thing is I have installed Gradio using pip install Gradio. So these three things I have already done. Now let's go to Gradio website, where there is 3-4 things. First, quick start guide, documentation. There are already developed demo which you can use for even text and natural language processing, image and tabular data, and speech and audio. So let's go to first documentation. So there are two ways you can build interface using interface and blocks. So let's look into them one by one. You can see here all the documentation is available, and you can see all the arguments that those functions will take. So let me go to Visual Studio Code, and the first thing I'll do is I'll import Gradio as gr. Now gr has a thing called interface. This interface takes bunch of argument. Out of these there are 3-4 which are must. First is a function name, second inputs, and third outputs. So a function will be a Python function that will take these inputs, and whatever the function will return will be set here as outputs. So let me create a function. Let's say demo function. Let's say at this point it takes a piece of text which is a kind of a string, and it will return a string as well. And what I'll do is that I'll return whatever comes to the function. So here in the name of function I'll provide demo function. Now inputs and outputs. So for inputs and outputs we can have these components. There are so many different components that you can use for input and output. And in this demo, let's take look at text box. So we'll take a text box, and that will create this kind of UI interface. So I'll say inputs is gr.components.text box. Again, this will take so many different arguments, out of which let's provide a label that will be input. And for output as well, I'll use gr.components.text box, and I'll label that as output. Okay. Now I'll catch whatever the output of this function class into object called demo, and then I'll say if underscore name equals to underscore main, then I want to launch my demo. And yeah, so now in order to run this file you need to use Gradio command. So I'll say Gradio underscore interface dot py. And when I run it, it will do all the things. It will create a server, local server, obviously, a local server, and it will create a URL as well. So this is my local server URL, and it will, watch the files as well. So whenever I make a change into the file, that will launch the, reload the application. So when I click on this, you can see we got a beautiful interface: input, output, clear button, submit button, and this is a flagged button. So whenever you click on this button, it will capture input, output, timestamp, and other things. So let's say hi, and when I submit, it says hi, because we are returning whatever coming here. So when let's print this things text. Let me refresh this. So I say, how are you? And when I hit submit, that input is captured, passed as an input argument to this function. Whatever the function returned is set as outputs. So you can see with minimum line of code, you created this beautiful interface. And let's say this is kind of sentiment analysis. You provide a sentence here and you see the sentiment of that sentence. So this is very easy, convenient way to create your demos. So this is the first way to create a demo, where you use Gradio Interface. There is one more way to create a beautiful Gradio interface, is using Gradio Blocks. I'll stop this server and let me clear the screen as well. Second, let's look into Gradio Blocks. So Gradio Blocks is a kind of again similar things, but you have more control over the UI. So here I'm importing Gradio. Then I have this block which says gr.blocks as demo. With row, that means I'm creating a row which has two elements. This is the first element and this is the second element. The first element is a column which has again two elements, input, and these two elements, which is again a row which has two buttons, clear and submit. So again, this is text box. This is again component button and text box. When you create a component button, there are a few methods that are associated with that, which is one of them is click. So click again takes a function, input and outputs. So the same we have seen a function which takes input and output. So this function, demo function, takes input and returns the output. So on the submit click event, the input text is passed to this function as input, and whatever returned by this function is set as output text. This is my output text. So let me launch my Gradio UI. So Gradio underscore blocks. Yeah, I think it is launched. Okay, so you can see that we have the same kind of interface. We don't see this flag button here, and the reason for that is, let me show you very quickly a few things. Here in the Gradio interface, there is allow flagging button. So this allow flagging button is a button when someone clicks on it, all the input and output is captured into a flagged folder. So let me use false, and that will change the UI and it will remove the button. So this is our new UI created by blocks. So this is my row. This row has two elements, first and second. The first element has two things, or you can say it's a column which has two elements, this input and clear and submit button. Now clear and submit button are arranged in a row fashion. So it's a kind of matrix way to understand the UI. Now whenever someone clicks on submit button, input text passed to demo function and whatever return is set as output text. And in clear function, I take input text and return output text and input text and make them empty. And I'm not sure why I've done that, but I don't have to use input text as well. I can call the function and I'm not returning string, I'm returning a tuple. Oh, there are so many bugs already. Now if I come here and if I say here, hi, how are you? And if I hit submit, you can see we got the same output. And when I hit clear, it will clear both the input and output fields. So I guess this is it from this part of the video. I hope you have learned how to create a simple, beautiful interface using Gradio. We have seen two things, Gradio Interface and Gradio Blocks. I hope you have liked my work, and in case you do so, please consider subscribing to my channel. That helps. Thank you for watching. Peace.